My name is Shraga Ben Yosef. Was born in Israel quite a number of years ago, and I love it here. And I am one of the guides. I was born on the 28th of August 1941. I know I don't look like it, but I'm 70 years old. I'm almost going to be 71 in 1 month, and I'm very happy, and I'm very proud of being born here. I lived here almost all my life. And I'm very thrilled with the fact that I'm a person, a guide, who can share this wonderful land in all aspects to people who are willing to come and be a part of what goes on in this wonderful place that was selected by God to be given to the children of Israel, to the Jewish people. As a guide, I had, and I still have, of course, friends. One of them is Benji, who is well known to all of you. And actually, he called me, it was in 1984, which means almost 28 years ago, and told me about a very special group that he is going to be leading, who is going to come to Israel. And everything that they do is very different than what the usual conventional tours do when they come here. And I said, of course, I'm willing to work with you and Birta and this special group, especially when he told me that most of the people are from the West Coast. And this is how I actually happened to meet JR. I remember we stayed at the Jerusalem Hyatt on Mount Scopus. And from the very first moment, I could feel that everything in this particular tour with this particular group is going to be different and special. And this is exactly what happened. Everything was so well organized, like in the US Army, in the Marines. Everything was on time. Everyone was smiling and happy. And I mean, this is very different. Even though that some of the days people didn't know what is going to happen. Things changed from now to another 5 minutes. But everyone was ready and willing and happy to do it the way they were told to do it. And I also recall very well the experience I had by the using of the earphones and the transmitter that I got that was so different and so special, by letting the people do whatever they wish to do while I was explaining them and giving them the historical background of different places, especially on Masada. I will never forget that usually I like to look at the eyes of the people and see all the groups standing together in front of me. And at that particular time, of course, some of them were standing right next to me, but many were walking around, collecting stones, getting the idea about the terrain, about the weather, about everything else. So this was very, very special. How I could get the attention of so many people. Sometimes we talked not just to the people of the particular bus, we talked to the entire group of 120 people together at the same time. So this was something very special. And it was in 1984. In 1984, I met JR and the group at the Hotel Hyatt. We stayed at the Hyatt for a few nights, and then we went to one of the most beautiful and unique places in the country, which is by the Sea of Galilee, called Nov Genosar, a guest house over there. And that was very, very special, because over there we're also part of the training that Path 4 was all about. Yep.
Okay, talk about a little bit about what Nov Genosar was. It was kosher in there, okay?
Yeah, Nov Genosar means the view of Gennesaret. Gennesaret is one of the 4 names of the sea known as the Sea of Galilee. By the Christians, it's called the Sea of Galilee, the Sea of Gennesaret. And by the Israelis, it's called the Lake of Tiberias or Lake Kinneret, because the sea got the shape of a harp, like a harp. And some people say that in the evening, when there is a little wind over there, you can listen to the waves being actually moved by the wind, playing as a nice music of a harp. Kinnor in Hebrew. Kinneret is the name in English. And a kibbutz was founded over there almost about 85 years ago by the lake, by Jewish Israeli pioneers. And they actually took a part in the tanning of the desert green and make it bloom like the rose of Sharon. They were starting, yes.
Look at me, because you're looking over there and it looks like I'm over there.
Yeah. Yeah, they started from scratch. They had to drain the swamps over there. They had to bring some dirt, and then to plow the land, and then to actually fertilize the land by the use of organic fertilizers, and then they started to grow bananas and vegetables and dates and grapes and citrus orchards and all the rest of what they could grow and sell and make a living. In addition to that, they did also a lot of fishing. Amazing thing was that the people who came with JR on this program, they were, I mean, some of them really were not in a great economical shape. I was talking to a lot of them. Some of them had everything that they could get, actually.
Wasn't big.
Oh, yeah.
And you set the tone.
Sure, sure. One of the great things that happened is that, you know, this part of the world over here, the Middle East, is very, very sensitive. And I mean, something which happens sometimes about 20 miles away from here, when you look at the map, it looks so close. People just cancel their visits and stop coming to Israel. And I remember at least twice when this situation was desperate, then when we needed, you know, tourism more than ever, JR and the group of 120 people, which is quite a significant number, came despite of all actually so-called problems which were announced, you see, all over the American media, European media, and television networks, which got nothing to do with the truth. Because over here, and this is what we explained, JR, and it was amazing to see how JR was certain that nothing is going to happen, that everything is going to be well and quiet and peaceful, and this is exactly the way it works here.
Yeah.
This is the way it works here.
Do you remember how peaceful it was even when Saddam Hussein took over?
Sure. Absolutely. Everything was going on, I think, in Iraq at that time, and everyone was expecting actually a third world war. But we believe, you see, that things are going to change for the best, and this is exactly what happened.
Do you remember, is there anything else that sits in your head? Was the energy, I know we're always high and having fun.
Yeah, always nice. Everybody was always nice, and the kind of what actually amazed me as well is the respect and the love that you had for JR. People didn't stop going over to JR. Of course, sometimes it started to bother, so you see there were some people who kept the crowd away. But there's so much love and awareness of what peace is all about was affecting us, you see, very dramatically. I remember in the evenings we used to talk, Benji, Birta, and me, who were the three guides, about how special and how moving the experience we had from this particular group, which was very unique group of people.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I say that we love to see JR coming back here, but I know that now it's a little more difficult and there are other things to do. But we appreciate everything that was going on with this group of people, the different paths who came here, and they know much more about Israel than they ever did before. And I know it because some of the people keep corresponding with me by email, by faxes at the very beginning, because email did not exist at the time. And this is what Israel is all about, and this is what friendship is all about.
Can you briefly, just before we're done, can you briefly just give a really big synopsis about your being in the war and how it was amazing when you went into Jerusalem? Can you just briefly, the way you always told us that story?
Yeah, I told you this is a part of my life. I was born here in 1941 on Mount Scopus, and I moved to a kibbutz when I was 10 years old in the northern part of the country, Kibbutz Amir, which is in the Upper Galilee. And then I studied over there, of course, my elementary school, high school. And then when I reached the age of 18, I joined the army. I was volunteering to the elite unit of the Israeli army, the paratroopers, and I was very proud about it. And I became an officer and a gentleman as well. Because I'm a twin. I have a twin sister. Her name is Nurit, and she's half an hour older than me. So this proves actually that I was a gentleman. I told her, you go first, and I come later. And then I was an officer in the army. I took a part in 4 wars. Thank God that I came back, you see, alive, because unfortunately, some of my friends and some of my soldiers didn't make it. My first experience was a company commander in the Battle over Jerusalem on the 5th of June, 1967. I took a part in the liberating of the city of Jerusalem as a company commander, as a captain. And unfortunately, it wasn't my last war. We always expect, that the war we fight is going to be the last one, because we don't believe that there are winners in a war, but we fight a war because we have no other option. Every war we fight is like the last war, because no one is going to give us a second chance, and we all know that. My second war was in 1970. Actually, it was a war of attrition along the Suez Canal. I was a volunteer over there for 3 months, and this was terrible, terrible experience. We lost during the entire 6-day war about 741 soldiers. During the 3 years of attrition war from 1967 till 1970 along the Suez Canal, we lost 1,000 soldiers. And then we built actually the Balev line, which was a line of Israeli fortifications on the Suez Canal on the Israeli side. And unfortunately, I had to be there in 1973 in the war known as the Yom Kippur War as a deputy battalion commander. We crossed the canal under the command of Arik Sharon. We were surrounding the 3rd Egyptian Army, and we ended actually on the outskirts of the city of Ismailia. This was a very bad war. We were caught by surprise. And I prayed and I praised God every single morning that I could come back, alive back to my family. And then the third actually time was in 1982, the Israeli retaliation into Syria. I took a part in fighting on the eastern part of that front against the Syrians in the Israeli invasion that was known as Peace for Galilee. 1982. 1982, yes. Yeah, I was there about 3 months. I spent about 7 months during the 73 war in what was called Africa. We named it Africa because actually we crossed the canal to the Egyptian side, which is the continent of Africa. And we actually felt that we are never going to come back to Israel. But thank God that we got back. It was 7.5 months later, and we started everything from the very beginning.
You had to guide the groups.
Yeah. So we appreciate, we appreciate friendship. Peace is our main goal, because as I said, and I still stand behind my words, there are no winners in a war. And one of our previous prime ministers, her name was Golda Meir, she said something that I never forget. She said, I can actually forgive the Arabs for everything they did. I never forgive them for forcing our men to kill their boys, their children. And this is true. That's the way it happens, because every soldier, no matter if he is Egyptian or Syrian or Jordanian or Israeli, got family, sometimes a wife, children, and it's very sad when they don't come back.
So for you, with all that, it was really amazing to see JR bringing groups,
Absolutely.
promoting peace.
Absolutely. JR did something very special, as I already mentioned earlier, to bring people to Israel no matter what goes on. It never bothered them. On the contrary, I know that there were many more people who were willing to come and join the group, but he was willing to take only a certain number. This is exactly what my operator Benji told us, that he is interested in bringing 3 actually buses, and that's it. He could bring 5, 8, and so on. He was so charismatic and so different and so special that he could do almost everything.
Last thing, do you recall anything? Did you ever have a private moment with JR? Can you?
Not really. Not really, but sometimes I joined a group that was listening to the man. I mean, those were ordinary talks, and the way he talked to the people, and the way, I mean, first of all, so quiet and so peaceful, and I mean, so logic. I mean, I felt that he was a special man. I know that he is a special man. Otherwise, he could never make, go on with such an operation as he did. There was something very special about him and about the entourage of JR. Each one of you're also a special man. And so is John, I remember, and Terry. And they all come, alive to me.
You would like to say?
I like you, JR. We love you. And we remember almost everything that happened while you were here with us, with the wonderful people and the wonderful groups. It was so much fun and so much joy, but so much love and understanding and awareness of what peace means and how important it is for the sake of the people of this region and for the entire world. And we bless you and wish you all the best, and I hope that I'm going to see you again one day. Either you come here or I will have to go over there.